All right, shalom, shalom. Can y'all hear me? Put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me loud and clear. Shalom, shalom. And Genesis, are you there as well?
Yep, I'm here, bro.
All right, nice. Is the music, is the audio, is everything stabilized? I want to make
Yeah,
sure the music is too loud.
everything's clear on my end.
All right, good. So, all right. So something interesting happened on Facebook today, and actually, since this is Yeshub's channel, I'm just gonna make sure he has anything to say. Do you have anything to say before we get started?
Nah, I want to get right to the meat and potatoes tonight, man.
All right, all right, all right. So something interesting happened on Facebook today. Something very interesting. So I'm part of this Facebook group. It's just a genetic Facebook group. It's not YAP game, by the way, or Genesis 49ers. But in this group, somebody made a post, and I agree that the post was bad. But other people commented in it, and they said some very just inaccurate things concerning E1b1a and the origin of it. And so I'm going to show y'all the discussion, and we're going to break down the points one by one. And also, I'm going to send the link out to these people to see if they want to debate. So I'm going to let you shoot kind of take over the mic really quick. But again, basically, they're saying that E1b1a didn't originate anywhere else other than West Central Africa. And obviously that's wrong. And they brought some really bad examples, like archaic human remains, claiming that there'll be a basal E1b1a and stuff like that. And talking about E1b1a have an eastern branch and a western branch, and that we're the western branch. But I told Yeshub about some of it. I posted some of it in Telegram, so he can kind of skim through it if you want. And I'm going to send this link out to the people in that Facebook group. So can you kind of take over the mic for a minute while I do this? And if the music is distracting you, I can turn it off as well.
Nah, it's good. We good. So, yeah, with that being stated, man, we got our brother Sean in the building. And, a lot of these guys make these claims. We brought up Garfield and his claims as well. And a lot of times they don't present the information honestly. And what I mean by that is they will tell you the origins of E1b1a and say it as if it's definitive. So we just dealt with this with the Green Sahara, well, not the Green Sahara paper, the paper on the sickle cell trait that's always referenced by Garfield, but since he's not professional and he's not really caring about the scholarship side of it, he just wants to reinforce his dogmatic principle. He doesn't actually read the paper to you guys live. So in the paper, the conclusion they came to is that E1b1a could be, well, not E1b1a, but the sickle cell trait could have originated in the Green Sahara. It doesn't even say West Central Africa. That's one of the auxiliary hypothesis. But they came to the conclusion that the hypothesis of the origin of the sickle cell trait could have been Green Sahara, which puts a monkey wrench in a lot of the Africanist argument points due to the fact that as soon as you start putting clades in North Africa, you're automatically connecting them to Eurasia, the Levant. You're automatically connecting them because we all know, anybody that studies genetics and they're serious about it and they read up on it, we all know that North Africans are damn near mirrors of Near Eastern peoples, right? Because there's no genetic barrier between Africa and the Levant. There has been people for thousands of years making the trek back and forth from the Near East to North Africa and vice versa. So this is why you see Ibero-Maurutians that are mainly downstream clades of M215, E1b1b, and you also see the oldest Levantine remains we find with actual DNA segments to sequence having downstream markers of E1b1b, because these people have been going back and forth. They've been going through the Levantine corridor. They've been going through what we call Egypt, through Libya, through North Africa, all the way to the western tip, and then back for thousands and thousands of years. Very migratory people. So once you start putting E1b1a in the North African conversation, which I believe Family Tree DNA was either Family Tree DNA or no, ISOGG would say that E1b1a originates in North Africa and then migrated down and through the Sahara 3,000 years ago. Um, we brought that out on the channel before. When you start looking at things like that and you start connecting the dots and you start putting our ancestors in North Africa, you automatically open the door for them being related to Near Eastern peoples. And this is why Garfield, or maybe why Garfield and his pundits will not admit to what the papers are actually saying. Like I brought out the Greece Saharan paper, it says that E1b1a was a trans-Saharan clade along with AM13, right? AM13 is largely sub-Saharan today, but before it was quite migratory, to the fact that you can even see it in Sardinia or Crete, right? What's that place that burnt down by the volcano? I can't think of it now, but you find it there as well in like
Pompeii.
Pompeii in the first century, right? In the first century, you find a AM13, I believe it's M13, all the way in Pompeii, right? Showing you that these sub-Saharan African groups today, their ancestors were migratory and they exist outside of sub-Saharan Africa. Um, you even find, I believe in that paper by Lazarus and Reich and others that just came out this year, they revealed, I think, some A mark. There was either A markers or B markers that was in the what do you call it? The Southern Arc, right? That's up there, like Caucasian, Turkey, and all that area. And below it, they even found A markers there.
Or I sent the link on Facebook.
Yeah,
All right.
so these people are migratory. They're humans. Humans migrate. Our cousins, our brothers with the haplogroup D marker made their trek from a central point. I believe it's the Himalayas, like Vincent Cabrera breaks down on his paper that he did in 2018 about the L3 carriers and their brothers E1b with the E markers at the time. As DE split DM174, you had a group of people that had that haplogroup and the EM96 group. They split, and those D migrants made their way all the way from whatever that split point. If you put it in India, you put it in Himalayas, or you put it in the Levant somewhere, or Saudi Arabia, they split. And those descendants made their way all the way to the modern Japanese people. So migrations is as old as people, right? People have been migrating, dispensing and dispersing throughout the globe for thousands of years. Look at Native Americans. Native Americans come from a population somewhere in Siberia, and they make their way and they trek all the way through the Beringia into what we call Alaska and Canada and going down. And some of them even made a southward to start their trek in the south. So now you have to start introducing some seafaring there. How did they get to the south? Because what they discovered is the archaeological sites that are in like South America and Chile are a lot older than the sites that we see with the Clovis people. So that could very well be a south to north migration as well there, just showing that people have always been migrating. And they even showed there's a recent paper, maybe a couple of years old, maybe 3 or 4 years old, that agriculture actually spread through Europe through Middle Easterners that were actually seafaring as well. So a lot of this stuff is old. People have always been moving and migrating, but for some reason, you get people trying to trap us or our ancestors into sub-Saharan Africa as if they don't have two legs. and they don't have brains and minds to think and say, hey, we have to expand. Hey, food is starting to become a shortage here, so let's go find more food resources and stuff of that nature, which we know all. Even the koi were not always buried in the southern tip of Africa. Even the koi people, even the Sun people, they were not there. At one point, they were more northern. They were more in the eastern or the Horn areas, and they were all across the Sahel. But they began to get pushed down south
Yeah.
as certain markets started pushing them down south. The Bantu expansion pushes them down south to where they are today.
So I see a person named Judah Jedi. I don't know if this was one of the guys from the Facebook group because I sent the link to everybody. I don't know if this is them, but I'm going to put the link down there, or maybe we could go through some of the conversation. I don't know. But whoever joins, I'll turn the music off when they join because it might be distracting for them. I don't know. But click the link if you want to join, and in the meantime, we can go to the Facebook uh, discussion board. And tell me if you can hear the music anymore, because I just took off the.
It's gone.
Okay, just double checking.
Yeah, it's gone. And Judah Jedi, you're welcome to come on and give us your strong reasons.
So let me turn off my music on my end. Right, and let me remove the what you call it.
And Judah Jedi says, no, I'm not from Facebook group. I'm a real melanated Shemite. What is your basis off that? Are you going off DNA? If you're going off DNA, can you at least tell us what your haplogroup is, sir?
That will be interesting. Before I go into this Facebook thing, let me hear from Judah Jedi from Asia. Click the link, Judah Jedi, because I don't want this to be a long live. Here, I put the link down there for you.
So he says Sub-Saharan African is an Amorite, sir. I mean, what are you basing it off of? We need more than that. What is your methodology? How did you come to that conclusion?
Here we go with the pseudo scholarship again.
That's what I'm trying to get him to show his work.
I'm gonna give him like 1 minute. No, I'm playing.
He says, look at the world haplogroups maps and look at northern India.
Wait, you went from sub-Saharan Africa to India?
Right. So, Judah Jedi, can you please just tell me what your haplogroup is? What haplogroup do you belong to? Because we got people that's in northern India that share our haplogroup.
That's true. D markers.
DNA and people groups cut across geography, language, culture. It cuts across all of that.
And he said those are Semitic haplogroups.
What
So which
are
haplogroups are you talking about? Which
yes.
haplogroups? We talking uh, haplogroups here? Give me these haplogroups in plural. You have to make a sound methodological argument here.
I'm gonna give him like 3 more minutes, basically 20 minutes in the live, and then I'm gonna go to the Facebook thing.
That's a terrible. The one you got on the screen is just hurt
No,
my eye.
Yeah, this is from a discussion that was on Facebook.
Yeah, that's deplorable right there, man. Is that Lion Farm Burner's account right there?
No, this is actually from that website that what's her name used, Latoya from Facebook in the Rumble room. She used this that picture, that same picture. I think that's her name.
Judah Jedi, what is your haplogroup, sir?
Yeah, you got like 2 minutes, Judah Jedi, because once 20 minutes hit, I'm gonna go into this so that the people watching can.
Not Dutchy Dutch.
Who's that?
I don't know who this is, man. My haplogroup's E1b1a. Well, we're trying to figure out Judah Jedi.
Q1A.
Oh, he's Q1A.
He's a Native American.
I know who
Yeah.
this. I know who this is now. He had another account. I'm trying to remember what he called himself.
He's one of those the ancient watchman types.
Yeah. He had another account. Shout out to Q1A, man. That's what's up. You Q1A.
Yeah, you're Aboriginal American.
Yep. A true Native American.
Or Siberian. It could be Siberian.
That's true. Yeah, that too.
Let's see.
Well, Dutch.
You know what? Oh, Dutchy has a question.
Yeah.
What does it mean? What do you mean? What does it mean?
His haplogroup. I guess he just found it out.
You have.
Well, we're actually going to get into that, Dutch. Since you're E1b1a, we're actually going to dig deep into E1b1a tonight. So
10 tribes Q1A. I don't
did you cut out
understand.
Sean, or is that me?
Okay, so let's go. Let's use his logic, and then let's see who are all the Shemites and who are the Israelites.
Yeah, but remember, he said also, don't forget, he said haplogroups in Asia. He said it's multiple haplogroups for Shemites. So let's see which other one he wants to add to this Q1A.
All right, so I'm on discover.familytreedna.com. I'm going to type in Q&A, see what happens. Probably ain't going to say nothing. Give me a.
By the way, Yeshua or Sean, if y'all don't mind, can y'all get your 23andMe ready? I want to read a section from it as well.
It'll take me a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, either
Give me a minute.
or,
Give me a second. Let me get to it.
this is an interesting section I want to read from it that deals with E1b1a when we get into this discussion. And y'all might know what I'm talking about.
All right.
Let me check my Facebook really quick, see if anybody said anything.
Okay, so QMEH2 is how you would have to put that in family tree DNA. So let me put this in. And I thought they let you use this. Come on, man. On my phone, I never have to type in my information. It's asking for my information. All right, so boom, boom.
Yeah, every time you log into 23andMe, you gotta do it.
Yeah, exactly, Raul Rugo. You might be trying to pull a tail on us. Trans haplogroups.
All right, so I'm looking at his real quick. I'm going to show this real quick. Then I'll try to. I gotta remember my password and stuff for 23andMe. But this is for this brother who said that Q1A is all 10 tribes. Okay, so cool. Let's go off your logic and say Q1A is all 10 tribes. So who would that encompass? All right, 24,000 years ago is when Q1A hits the scene. So this is our haplogroup story. Here's the ancestor list. There's about 3,000 tested descendants. And they specify that their earliest origins are from Mexico, United States, and Sweden. 91 other countries. 425 people with this clade that tested with this company went back to Native Americans. So let's go to migration map. Here's your migration. This red circle is the point of origin. So you got some people coming down into Pakistan, Afghanistan. You have some people going into Finland with your markers. Then you got some people, of course, making the trek. Like I said earlier, they made the trek through the Beringia land.
Yeah, the Bering Straits, yeah.
Yeah. Down into there. But they have found evidence of some of the oldest cities in South America. So we got to wonder how did they get over there? What was the path there? But here's some of your relatives. Let's click some of them. So 10,000 BCE, you have an ancient relative in Montana. So according to you, the 10 tribes would have been in Montana about
10,000 years ago.
10,000 BCE. Here's a more recent one here in Ontario, Canada. Let's see what we got in Mexico here. 4,000 BC to 1500 CE. Got a brother here. 749, 409 BCE, Q7. So according to our brother, all of these people are the Israelites, or the 10 tribes, he said.
That is a lot of people.
They dated this one in Peru to 4,987 to 47,794 BC.
That's well before the inception of Israel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
They was already in the Americas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Before there was an Israel, yeah, they were already here.
Okay. Makes sense. 12 tribes. Yeah.
12 tribes worldwide. 12 tribes.
Your version of 12 tribes existed in America long before Israel. Like, look.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And it's not based off of postulation. Like, when people look at our haplogroup, most of the information is a piecemeal, right? This is based off of burials. All right, so he says here, so now he's saying we're bearing false witness. What am I bearing false witness on?
Why don't you just click the link?
LeBron said that took 2 minutes to debunk.
Facts. And he said, it's where there's ice. What do you mean where there's ice? You talk about the federal ice?
Are you talking about ICE?
Immigration?
You talking about immigration control?
Yeah, what's that about? I'm not understanding.
I'm trying to figure out what is it. Oh, okay. A land where no man dwelled is not Africa. So America, I used to teach that. I used to think that's what Ezra was talking about. And I used to, back y'all and teach the 12 tribes chart. So the genetics just don't link up with it, brother. These people have always been here for the past 15,000 years.
Now we're prideful Hamites. Okay.
Hamites. Okay. We'll be prideful then. Fuck it.
Yeah. All right. So we finished wiping the floor with you. Like Laban said, took 2 minutes to debunk your theory. So I guess we'll get back to these racist people on Facebook that we was wanted to deal with.
I think he should link with Darvis.
Hey.
Link up with Darvis, brother.
Darvis gonna be asking him where your people come from. They weren't Native Americans. That's what he's gonna be saying. At this. All right. So this is the Facebook group. Let me actually go to it on my screen. Right. My True Ancestry users ancient DNA match group. This is the person that made the post, and I completely disagree with their statement. Because they basically go down the BHI route. They say in the Bible it states Esau, the hairy one, come out. I think they meant to say came out, but came out or come out first, and that's thanks to, I'm not even going to read this nonsense. So basically, he's saying that Esau's E1b1b, Jacob's E1b1a, and he also tries to compare it to Hamites and Esau having the same DNA. It almost reminds me of what's that guy, Dr. Benny from? Almost reminds me of that. Disagree with this post, but I saw somebody in the comment section say this, and I responded to it. So they said Jacob lived 3,000 to 4,000 years ago in the Levant, long after E1b1a was born. Long after E1b1a was born in its native West African birthplace. So that kind of, that comment kind of made me say, hey, E1b1a is not, it didn't get birthed in West Africa. So let me just read what I said. And whenever y'all want to stop me, just tell me, and we'll break down each statement that's made here in a second because they're going to talk a lot, as you can see. So I said E1b1a wasn't born in West Africa, and I wanted to make my comment quick and to the point because I want them to actually come on here and talk, and I want to show them the different sources and things of that nature that I have. And so this is what Fernando says, or Fernando. All right, so he says E1b1a E E1b1a E-V38 is a trans-Saharan lineage. E1b1a1 E-M2, which is the most common branch, is without a shade of doubt West African. That's where it arose and became differentiated. So I disagree, obviously, with this because he's basically saying that E1b1a1, which is E-M2, had its origin in West Africa, and that's where it diversified, basically. Um, I agree with it diversifying in West Africa, but it didn't originate there. It migrated there. And in a second, I'm going to have Yashub or Sean, one of the two, pull up their 23andMe to kind of go into why I would say it didn't originate in West Africa. But let's keep reading this. So he says, it's for this very reason why you find the greatest diversity of E1b1a in West Africa, along with the greatest frequency. So he's basically saying that the reason why E1b1a had to originate in West Central Africa, or excuse me, West Africa, is because that's where the highest frequency is at. And Yeshua actually has a paper or a book, I can't remember, that goes into why you can't go off high frequency. So can you actually get that source as well, you shoot? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now.
Okay, because I couldn't remember the name of it, but
I got 23andMe link ready.
all right, good, good. We'll go into that here in a second. So he says once they look for ancient remains in the Western Sahel region, E1b1a1, E-M2, and some basal E-V38 will be found there in abundance. So he believes that E1b1a as well as EV38 is going to be found in abundance in the Western Sahel, basically in West Africa. Excuse me, the other lesser known branch of EV38, known as E-M329, previously dubbed E1b1bc, but now is E1b1a2, is found almost exclusively in Ethiopia amongst mostly Omotic people. Specifically, it's the Ari Omotic people. But anyways, further evidence of a trans-Saharan lineage. And if you want to throw Ramses into the mix, sure. Even though his E-V38 assignment is questionable because its values are abnormal and no living person carries it. I don't even think that's even been proven to be true. But anyways, but for argument's sake, if it's accurate, the fact that he was neither E1b1a1-M2 and was neither E1b1a2 E-M329, he probably represents an extinct trans-Saharan E-V38 clade. No doubt will be found in the Sahel in years to come. And so basically, um, actually, let's keep reading. Let's go more into this. So I say
Are there
E1b1a.
any are there any subclades? Are there any subclades of EM329 or EV38 that is extinct?
You said,
Is that even
wait,
a fact?
repeat that again. I have to turn up the
He
volume for
said,
myself.
where is that? Let me start from here. The fact that he was neither E1b1A1, EM2, and was neither E1b1A2, EM32, he probably represents an extinct trans-Saharan EV38 clade. No doubt plenty will be found in the Sahel in years to come. Is there even do we know of any extinct clades of haplogroup E or E1b1a? Is that even a thing?
You could
Or is
have a
he just making that up?
he's definitely making an assumption. You can have extinct sub lineages, but he's making an assumption, yes, because it's just not a just not there's not like a proven it's not a proven fact that Ramses the Third descends from like a broken line of a E1b1a lineage. Like,
Yeah, so he's really reaching with this one. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, so I say E1b1a isn't West African in origin. It actually migrated there. And so this is what he says. But I was about to say I could read this or I could go into 23andMe, but here's the thing. We'll just read it and I'll stop here in a second. So he said it's a trans-Saharan lineage. By the way, this is a new person who enters the chat, Alexander Macedonia. Because as you can see, I was previously talking to Fernando, and then another person jumps in.
Yeah, that's
So
Macedonia.
yeah,
Macedonia.
Macedonia. Excuse me, Alexander Macedonia. And so he said it's a trans-Saharan lineage, which E-V38 is. E-M329, like he stated, is the Eastern specific branch, while E-M2 is the Western specific branch. So he's saying that, there's basically two types of E1b1a lineages, one in East Africa and one in West Africa. This image shows it perfectly. He has an image down below, by the way. I'll show it here in a second. So this image shows it perfectly. E-M78 and R-V88 came in from Eurasia. Haplogroup A and E-M2 came from more interior regions, basically sub-Saharan Africa. That's why there's groups like the Tobo, 75 Tobo men. He's getting this from, I think, Wikipedia, this quote right here. 75 Tobo men haplogroups associated with paternal Eurasian ancestry were present at rates of 34% for R1b, 31% for T1a, and 1% for J1. The African associated haplogroup E-M78 were present at rates of 28%, while E-M81 appeared at a rate of 5%. The study also found that 20 through 30% of Tobo autosomal DNA was Eurasian in origin. So I would have, excuse me, scroll down a little bit. So I would assume, so I would also have added T1A coming from the north too. E1b1a, aka E-V38 equals trans-Saharan. E1b1a, E1b1a1, aka E-M2 equals Western Sahel / West African specific, and E1b1a2, aka E-M 3 to 8, I believe he meant to say 9, equals the Eastern Sahel Omotic specific, the Hebrew of Israel referring to me. He said it's a trans-Saharan lineage, which I think he's repeating himself here. Yeah, I think he may have accidentally copy and pasted it because this is all the same thing. All right, so this is the image that he's referring to. It's a paper dealing with the Green Sahara, and technically, this paper kind of proves my point because it really shows E-M2 having being in North Africa in the Green Sahara. But it does say that it's coming from sub-Saharan Africa. But there are papers that can kind of illustrate that this likely isn't the case, like the Sri Lanka remains, which we'll get into here in a second. Exit out of there. All right. So another person entered the chat, but he doesn't really say anything concerning me. But basically, this is what I say to Alexander. I say, no. He said, and I quote, E1b1a1 E-M2, which is the most common branch, is without which is the most common branch is without a shade of a doubt. I'm thinking meant to say shadow of a doubt. West African. That's where it arose and became differentiated. So I'm quoting what the other person said, not Alexander, but what Fernando said. E1b1a-M2 did not, again, this is me. E1b1a-M2 did not arose in West Africa because that's the main point that I was referring to when it came to the other person. Also, just saying E-V38 is also just say E-V38 is Saharan North African, which I would agree, but you can also apply that to E-M2. Claiming that E-M2 had its genesis in West Central Africa is wrong because you have zero proof. You have zero evidence for it. You don't have proof for it. All right, so then Alexander says, proof is literally in front of you. E-M2 is no doubt West African specific, where its greatest diversity of clades are found, where its highest frequency is. So I told you, Shroop, to bring up that paper. Um, you don't find it in ancient remains in East Africa or the Levant pre-Bantu expansion and the pre and the pre and pre the various slave trades. Like you said, you won't have the false like you said, you won't have the fossil remains, although I think there are Tyrian remains from the Sahel and other remains such as the Elo, I'm going to mispronounce this word, but the Elu or Elo Eru in Nigeria. Uh, just just need those to be sequenced, and then it's a wrap. Won't be surprised if they're basal E-M2. So you shoot. uh, Can you pull up those remains from Nigeria? Because I have the other paper that deals with the Shumalanka remains, but can you pull up those archaic
Oh
remains?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So those archaic remains is even discussed in the 2020 paper. Yeah, those papers are archaic. Those people are archaic.
Right.
They're not Homo sapiens sapien. I'm glad you said that. I forgot all about that. So if we go to the West African foragers paper that we brought up a couple times on the channel, I want to say to Ignatium, you know. So West African foragers, David Reich, 2020, I think it is.
It's like these dudes don't really read the papers. Like they don't understand. They can't make out or distinguish who is what findings they're looking at. It's crazy. I'm gonna wait for you to pull that up. It's
Yeah,
the
while you
same thing
pull
we
that
keep repeating over and over and over again.
while you pull that up, I'm going to keep reading, and then we can actually go into all these papers. Because I'm just about done. And also, I told Alexander and the other people to join the YouTube stream. So I'm just going to skip over that. But
Here,
he's
I'm going to put the
basically
paper in the chat for everybody.
okay.
Here, boom.
So basically, this other person says he comes in, says okay. Actually, this person kind of folds a little bit. I was kind of surprised by that. So basically, he says okay, point taken that it may have come from East Africa, but it became indigenous to West Africa by its distribution there. My point is, Jacob is not E1b1a, which, by the way, I never. We know this because we don't. We know this because we do not have any E1b1a ancient from any time period in the Levant. OP is a fairy tale. And then I tell them again to just join the link.
Wait, what's
And
the fairy tale again? The original post.
yeah,
Yeah, the original post is kind of.
yeah, it's way off. But I told them to join the live anyways.
Yeah,
And
but if you go back up and you see where he says that once they come up, once they sequence the DNA, well, what was that? And he said it'll be a wrap. Isn't that the archaic findings that were already in that 2020 paper?
yeah, he's talking about the other person's talking about that because this isn't the same person. I'm talking like three different people. Um, all right, so he says okay, but it became indigenous and dominant in West Africa. E1b1a isn't Jacob. Says it again, and then I tell him um, I can argue for an ancestral Yoruba slash Luya presence genetically in the ancestors of the Jewish people. Like I said, I'm about to go live on YouTube. I'll send you the link, yada, yada, yada. And so
They're
here's
gonna
the
they're gonna say that that came from the various slave trades, whether it be the trans-Saharan
No, they can't say
West
that if
African
there's
language. But they'll
3,400 years
try
ago.
that. Right, but they tried already. He said it earlier that the numerous slave trades. They said it in one of the whoever it was said it in one of the earlier posts that they made. So that's
Yeah,
what they're
talking
using.
about E1b1a being outside of West Central Africa. Yeah, and then I tagged Yeshub, James, Elkim, Sean, and Tyvon to set up the debate. And this is the last thing I think I'll read. And there might be one more paper you need to bring up, and we can just keep referring back to these comments when we start reading these papers. So he says, "This is the dumbest post I've seen on here. Firstly, E1b1a is neither Esau or Jacob. No E1b1a has ever been found in Israel or the Levant. E1b1a is associated strictly with Niger Congo language speakers. You don't have, you don't even speak an Afro-Asiatic language, let alone Semitic. In addition to this, you carry little to no, yeah, he meant to say no, Levantine related ancestry. We're going to get our papers ready for that. As a matter of fact, if you can, you should pull up the paper talking about Bantu people having Levantine DNA. And can you pull up, and Sean, I'll let you do this one, Sean. Can you just pull up an article dealing with the House of people?
Okay. What year? What year?
It doesn't matter. Just pull up the House of people. It can be uh, Wiki, Britannica, whatever, because we're going
All
to
right.
quickly debunk this whole Afro-Asiatic thing. E1b1a didn't speak Afro-Asiatic. Um,
Don't these arguments sound so familiar? It's the same arguments they always make. All of these same races. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
right, right. So he says, however, E1b1b is found throughout the Levant. It's it's one of the main paternal lineages of all Semitic speaking groups. Okay, I agree with that. E1b1a, excuse me, E1b1b groups all carry significant Levantine ancestry and almost exclusively speak Afro-Asiatic languages predominantly. I agree. On top of this, E1b1a or E-M2 is not even a sister slash brother clades to E1b1b. Now, here's where things get pseudo. He's saying that E1b1a and E1b1b are not even brother or sister clades. I don't. Do you have a paper for that? You should.
That's not the paper, bro.
Okay.
Read that again. Read that one time. That on top of this.
On top of this, E1b1a or E-M2 is not even a sister slash brother clades to E1b1b.
What the hell you say? What the hell you say? What the hell you say? What the hell you say?
My child, we beat this up and down Clubhouse so many years ago. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's not so many, but a few years ago. Like, it's just ridiculous, man. Go ahead.
Crazy, bro. It's a twin branch to E-M329. I don't know where he got that from, but there. Oh my gosh. So there goes your BS twin theory. E-M2 and E-M329 look on the picture are twin, aka sister slash brother branches, bro. Oh my gosh, he doesn't even understand. Anyways, we're about to look at the papers, but whereas E-V38 split from E1b1b 40,000 years ago. You stayed in Africa and are sub-Saharan Africa. You hear that, Yeshub and Jane? Excuse me, Yeshub and Sean. You
Yeah,
stayed in
we're mud hut. We're mud
sub-Saharan.
hut dunk slingers.
Whereas E1b1b, even the oldest remains are predominantly of Eurasian stock. I don't disagree with that. E1b1b and E1b1a separated about 42,500 years ago. Totally different autosomal breakdown. That's a bit debatable. Your results are tainted because of your dang. He goes in. Your results are tainted because of your European slave master slash colonial ancestry.
Yeah.
So you might get some Levantine or West Semitic on certain calculators. Those calculators. Yeah, go ahead.
He sounds like a one of those racist Arabs.
Yeah, I
Or
think this is Alexander, so he's like a Greek.
Grecian. Yeah, he's a
uh,
Grecian. Yeah.
yeah. So he says those calculators give even an Irishman 100% Western Semitic. All right, I'm going to actually stop right here really quick. When it comes to Jed match and you get that Western Semitic DNA, and I think Punt DNA, he's actually correct. That's just a placeholder for Eurasian DNA. It's not actually like Semitic people. So you will have like a 100% R1b um, European man of British ancestry can have like 100% Western Semitic because that Western Semitic and Jed match is just Eurasian DNA. So don't use that for Semitic ancestry. Anyways, he's right about that part. But take a pure E1, but however, he is wrong about the Levantine part. Because if you use other calculators that don't have generic West Eurasian DNA, if you get Levantine, that's actual Levantine. He's wrong about that. Levantine actually isn't even in the Punt DNA calculator. But anyways, back to this. But take a pure E1b1a sub-Saharan sub-Saharan African from Ghana or Nigeria, and they get close. Excuse me, and they get close 0% Natufian, Levantine, or negligible amounts. I need to pull up a paper that actually shows how much West Africans get. I'll pull that up here in a second once I'm done reading this. But he says totally different detractors,
Trajectories. Well,
detractors,
trajectories.
histories, autosomal breakdown, and distribution. E1b1b is also found with J1 and T1a in Eurasian subclades, and you rarely find it with E1b1a or E-M2. Why? Because they separated about 40,000 years ago and went their own way. Common sense. And so I told them, let's go on Genesis 49ers. And I'm not going to read the rest of this because it's kind of doesn't matter. So we can keep going back and forth to this thread when we want to refer back to specific things that they said. So I think the first thing I want to cover that was said is let's see. I want to kind of go in order. So let's deal with the idea of E1b1a originating. Actually, hold on.
Somebody hit those bots. The bots. Somebody get the bots, please.
Let's deal with that Nigerian claim. Do you have that one ready? You should. Sorry, I keep going back and forth. Let's actually deal with the.
I got a couple things. I got the frequency argument. I got the
Yeah, let's go to your 23andMe. Let's actually just kind of go in order and deal with the claim that we originated in West Central Africa, because that's the main thing that I disagreed with. So he said, long after E1b1a was born in its native West African birthplace. So let's deal with that first claim. Was E1b1a actually born in West Central Africa? Can we go to your 23andMe and read what it says?
There go my face, Darvis. You kept asking to see my face. It's actually here. What am I going to? Ancestry, right? Ancestry overview.
Yes, please. Let me make the screen bigger for myself so I can see. So you can go to
view ancestry or
go scroll down a little bit. And go to paternal haplogroup. Let's read that. All right, so it says that you are EU290. That's E1b1a. Just in case people may not know, it's a subclade within E1b1a. Let me put that way. Can you push DE for me, please? All right, so we're dealing with the claim that E1b1a originated in West Central Africa, but let's go back to the root of it all, which is DE. So, do you want to read that, or I can read that?
I can read it. It says here, the first steps of your paternal line ancestors led from Eastern Africa north towards the Red Sea and haplogroup DE M145. The DE lineage branched away from his brothers around 65,000 years ago, among the first of our ancestors to cross out of Africa into the Arabian Peninsula. Most descendants of the D lineage belong to one of its two branches, D and E. Men carrying D moved east into Asia, and those with E moved west through Africa and into Europe.
So the part I want to emphasize on is that it says the first of our ancestors to cross out of, I'm getting a text message, out of Africa into the Arabian Peninsula. So a lot of these uh, E clades and D clades would have been in Arabia, and there actually are a lot of Arabs today that still carry these E clades. But basically, DE did come out of Africa, and it was in the Middle East, at least 65,000 years ago, perhaps. You can go to the next reading, or unless you have anything you want to add to that.
No, you want to go to EM96?
Yeah, let's go to EM96. What does that say?
Your path branched off again over 60,000 years ago with the rise of the haplogroup EM96, also simply called haplogroup E. The common ancestor EM96 may have lived in northeastern Africa or in the Arabian Peninsula. Since then, his descendants have carried it throughout the African continent into neighboring regions of Europe and the Middle East.
All right, so that's also interesting too when it talks about how E-M96 basically could have had, which is haplogroup E, could have had its genesis in Northeast Africa, which is basically the Sahara, and or the Arabian Peninsula. So it could have a Middle Eastern origin. And yeah, we kind of go for a Middle Eastern origin. So that's very interesting. Can you go down to the part that deals with Ramses?
Ramses III. You share an ancient paternal lineage with Pharaoh Ramses III. Pharaoh Ramses III defended Egypt in 3 consecutive wars. Okay, we don't need to know that. You know right here. You and Ramses III share an ancient paternal line ancestor who probably lived in North Africa or Western Asia.
So you.
Did
Oh,
that
my
say?
bad. What
Did
about
that
to
say? No, that's not what it said. It said Western Africa. That's what it said, right?
Western Asia.
Western Asia. You sure it didn't say Western Africa?
Western Asia.
Oh, okay. All right. Just double checking.
North Africa or Western Asia. Those are 2 options.
Very interesting. So yeah, you and Ramses III have an ancient forefather, which is EV38, in North Africa and West Asia. So we kind of addressed that comment, and that's what I meant, among with very other things, why I would say that E1b1a did not originate in West Africa, because EV38 is E1b1a. So let's go back to my screen really quick and look at another claim that was made. You might have to filibuster for me here in a minute, you shoot, because I got a text and I need to read it. But let me just find the next section we can deal with. So kind of going in order, they say, why? All right, so he says right here, it's for this very reason why you find the greatest diversity of E1b1a in West Africa along with great frequency. So basically saying that E1b1a likely has origin in West Africa because a lot of West Africans have E1b1a. Its highest frequency is in West Africa. So therefore it must have originated there. Can you go into that statement, please?
Yeah.
While I prepare this text.
All right. So this claim here, again, is something that you'll hear often, especially with people that skim through this stuff, not really read information. So this is molecular. This is an introduction to molecular anthropology, and it deals with the issue that he just brought up: high frequencies. Does high frequencies make that a point of origin? To give great examples of high frequencies today, JP58 is all over Saudi Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula, the Levant, the Middle East in general. But JP58 and J markers are not known to be in those regions past the Bronze Age, especially before the Chalcolithic. So just because they got a high frequency there, this high frequency just means there's a lot of those descendants there today. Does not mean that's the point of origin. The point of origin of J is actually in the Transcaucasian region, right? So that's just an example. Millions of African Americans are over here today, and they have E markers that we didn't originate here, right? Even though we might have a high frequency of us here today. Native Indians have high frequencies of QM3, Q downstream markers of Q. They do not originate in America. They originate outside of America. They migrated to America and became populous. So just stating that someone has a high frequency or there's a lot of E1b1a carriers in sub-Saharan Africa, that alone does not prove that they've always been in sub-Saharan Africa. That just means they had successful populations that grew and became numerous. And most of those numbers come after the Bantu expansion, which is 3,000 years ago. That's when E1b1a started getting huge and overrepresenting themselves in sub-Saharan Africa. Before then, they were not all over sub-Saharan Africa like they are today. So with that said, this is an introduction to molecular anthropology. So let me go over here real quick and show you who wrote this book. Right, who wrote this book? I believe, let me get the author here. So the author is Mark Stoneking. So let's look at Mark. Who is Mark Stoneking? Because for some reason, you got people like Tail that would say, oh, those guys never refer to geneticists. We do it all the time. We read their books and their works and their articles.
By the way, Shu, don't mean to cut you off, but the guy that I'm talking to on Facebook, he's actually watching the stream. He just told me on Facebook. So can you put the link in the down below? And if you're listening to me, Alexander, click the link. And actually, I can put it in. Click the link and join the stream, because he's claiming that he's not saying what he basically just said.
Right. So high be praised says if high frequencies mean indigenous, that means European. R1b originated in America. Exactly. The most numerous marker in America is going to be R1b, and we know it did not originate here. All right. So as you guys can see on the screen, this is Mark Stoneking. Who is Mark Stoneking? Right, because you got certain people saying, "Oh, they don't." We always defer to the geneticists. We're reading their works, and I'm about to read in this book. Mark Stoneking is a geneticist currently working as the group leader of the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology. That's who this guy is. This guy's well certified, and he knows his stuff. So let's go to his book. You know, I've decided to start doing that because some of these guys are just playing coy. So this is in the page 183 of an introduction to molecular anthropology by Stoneking. And it says here, right here, so we might think that where we see the highest frequency of a mutation / haplogroup is where it arose. The problem with this line of thinking is that all other things are seldom equal, and there are many factors besides age that can influence the frequency of a mutation in a haplogroup. So obviously, just because you see a high frequency, like the brother said, R1b being overrepresented in the Americas, from Canada all the way down to South America, there are many males walking around descendants of the R1b clade. That does not mean they originate there. There's many ways you can explain that. They migrated there or became big. E1b1a became big because of a recent event in history known as the Bantu expansion. That's when we start dominating sub-Saharan Africa and being very numerous, right? That's the period. So high frequencies does not equate with with origin, you know. It's just that simple, man. You really don't have to go too deep into this. It says right here, for example, a severe decrease in population size due to a bottleneck or founder event can result in a large change in allele frequencies, as we shall see in chapter 16. So you can have bottlenecking events that can create the same phenomenon and stuff of that nature. Then he goes into more examples, but we're pretty much killing this just with that alone. It's a logical fallacy, it's a false equivocation. You're trying to equate high frequency with origin, and high frequency does not automatically denote origin.
Right. So let's deal with another one of his claims or their claims, because I'm talking to like 3 different people in this post.
What
All
the
right,
hell
so
you say?
once they look for the ancient remains, all right. So he claims, once they look for the ancient remains in the Western Sahel region, E1b1a and some of the basal EV38 will be found there in abundance. So it's just assumptions. Evidence.
Did he say the archaic stuff? Because I got that loaded up too.
All right, actually, we need to address this part right here. So he says, and if you want to throw Ramses into the mix, sure, even though his E-V38 assignment is questionable because its values are abnormal and no living person carries it. So can you pull up, I should have told you this earlier, but can you pull up the 2020 paper, I believe it is, confirming that Ramses the third and his son indeed is E1b1a, since a lot of people seem to...
That's Yahia Gad 2020. I got you.
Since a lot of people seem to be shaky on it.
Yeah, he going to school right now. We taking him to school. I hope he's in it. Is it this one? This dude that's saying he's watching the
No, it's
live?
Alexander, actually, not Nando.
The one that degraded down to you're a damn slave and that's it, basically.
We'll get to
You a
Alexander's
mud hut. You a mud hut dunk slinger.
Hey, Alexander, we got a message for you.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
That's what it boils down to, man.
True. That's true. That's very true.
I got that ready when you want.
Yeah, I'm ready right now. Let's go.
All right, so this is Yahia Gad 2020. You pretty much confirm that. Again, who is Yahia Gad? A geneticist. So Yahia Gad et al., meaning and others, 2020, confirming the E1b1a that was found in Ramses III. This is from a paper called Insights from Ancient DNA Analysis of Egyptian Human Mummies, Clues of Disease and Kinship. So we can go down. Let's hard search it. I want to just scroll through this. E1b1a. Boom. Another genetic examination was done as part of a multidisciplinary study on the mummies of Ramses III and the unknown man E, 20th dynasty, circa 1190 to 1070 BC. Ramses III was subjected to an assassination attempt by members of his harem as part of a palace coup, historically known as the Harem Conspiracy, and recorded in the Judicial Papyrus of Turin. The unknown man E was suggested to be Pentawar, the son sharing in the coup. The study concluded on the basis of the radiographic evidence that the pharaoh was murdered during the attempt. The genetic results confirmed that both mummies had the same Y chromosome molecular signature, E1b1a haplotype, and one set of identical autosomal alleles, suggesting a father and son relationship. So both males. Go ahead, brother.
No, you got it.
No, I was just going to say both males were E1b1a. It's not just Ramses. It's 2 males. And they designated that they determined that both of them were E1b1a. And there was a confirmed father and son relationship there because they matched the same Y chromosomes, which were E1b1a, and had matches on the alleles, which shows that they were first degree relatives. Go ahead.
And how old is this paper?
2020.
Yep. Pretty recent. So it was just reconfirmed. All right. So let's go back to my...
What the hell you say?
Facts. So we're done with this person. That was Fernando. So now let's go to Alexander. I bet these are E1b1b people we're talking to as well, or that I was talking to.
Shout out to my YAP brothers. That's E1b1b. YAP gang, man, in the building. We repping all y'all.
So let's see. He tries to. All right, so this is again him trying to make E1b1a or basically E-M2 West African specific, but we already addressed that, so I'm not gonna go into that anymore since we already talked about it. So here's the next thing.
Where's the archaic?
Yeah, this is it. This is it with Alexander. So Alexander, join the link if you think we're gonna get this stuff wrong. So I'm just gonna go in order. So proof is literally in front of you. Is no doubt E1b1a is West African specific, greatest diversity, highest frequency. Just address that. You don't find it in ancient remains in East Africa or the Levant. Yada yada. Like he said, you don't find it. All right, here. So basically says right here in this section, not going to read it verbatim, but basically says that the E1b1a samples would be in the Elu Eru in Nigeria, and you can tell me if I pronounced that right, Yushu. I don't know, but basically in this archaeological site in Nigeria, and he's basically saying that they would be basal E-M2. He said he won't be surprised if they're basal E-M2. The Eru,
and it would be a wrap. Wait, don't forget. Read the whole
right,
thing.
and it would be a
Evil,
wrap.
right.
So
Just need those. Just needs those to be sequenced, and it's a wrap. Wow. Okay.
Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
This is this guy here. This is him.
Somebody tell his cheerleaders to get off yo dick. Because they gonna hype every single bar up that this nigga go spit. He can say something that doesn't make no sense. Like, bibbity bobbity boo. They gonna be like, oh shit.
That bibbity bobbity boo scholarship, man.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. We're gonna put cases.
Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
Let's get started, shall we? All right, before that, I got something special, man. Look, you're just gonna go to haplotree. You can go to haplotree and look at all the ancient DNA. You gotta explain why the oldest E1b1a clades are outside of Africa in the first place. You gotta explain that. So right here, I believe it's this one. Not EM78. Where is it at? Right here, EZ16056. Where is this found? In France. Why is E1b1a in France? Projected to be 5,439 years old. Why is that in France? If
He'll find a slave trade to put us in.
Yeah.
To send us there.
Damn near 6,000 years ago. Why is it in France? If E1b1a is landlocked to sub-Saharan Africa. So we need to know that, man. Why do we have E1b1a in France? So from there, we're going to get some more clades after that. I just wanted to share that real quick. From there.
And by the way, he keeps messaging me on Facebook saying, bro, you're not addressing my claims. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Bro, you just need to jump on, man. You're not addressing anything by not jumping on. We've already dealt with most of your fallacious claims. You dogmatic supremacist. So now let's go to this paper. Instead of dealing with your dogma, let's just deal with the papers.
I'm going to send him the StreamYard link directly to him, so he has no excuses. Like, if you feel like we're misrepresenting you, then join and tell us where and when and how.
And we'll walk through all your comments and your statements with you live, and you can tell us if that's not what you said verbatim.
And bring your friends with you, because I was talking to like 2 other people in that chat.
All right, so this is the 2020 paper here. West African foragers in the context of African population history. Mark Lipson et al. And it tells you that the remains that they found in Cameroon were A and B. There were no E markers there. There were no E markers. That's what this paper tells you. And it says here, one individual carried deeply divergent Y chromosome haplogroup A00, which today is found almost exclusively in the same region. However, the genome-wide ancestry profiles of all 4 individuals are most similar to those of present-day hunter-gatherers from Western Central Africa, which implies that populations in Western Cameroon today, as well as speakers of Bantu languages from across the continent, are not descended substantially from the population represented by these 4 people.
What the hell you say?
Let me go down, man. So now let's deal with your argument about these Lero findings in Nigeria.
And let me just go back to this really quick. So we're not misrepresenting him. So everybody just look and see what he said right here. You see this?
Don't forget, it's a rap.
It's a rap
Okay.
that E-M2, the basal E-M2 is going to be in these remains. Let me go back to your shoes.
You wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Okay. Well, we just shut that down. That means you don't read. You haven't been reading. You just haven't been staying current.
Mm-hmm. So it says here, in regards to those findings they found in what, Ileru, I think that's how you say it, Eliru.
Yeah, Ereru, something.
Yeah, Nigeria. It says the presence of deep ancestry in the West African clade is notable in the light of the Pleistocene archaeological record, which includes Homo sapiens. These are not Homo sapiens sapiens, Homo sapiens. Fossils dated to about 3000 BP in northwestern Africa, as well as individuals with archaic features buried about 12,000 BP in southwestern Nigeria, the oldest known human fossil from West Africa proper. So the oldest known human fossils that we have from West Africa proper are this skeletal remains. You're bringing up the 2 individuals. These have archaic features. We're Homo sapiens sapien. We're not archaic hominids. So who is this talking about? This ain't talking about no E1b1a markers, dude.
No, it's talking about you, bro.
I wonder.
You're a damn pre-Adamite. You're a damn pre-Adamite. You're an archaic humanoid. You're a donkey, how they would call us. Some of them. See, I don't even want to say that, but the Arabs that he probably run with, the supremacists, I should say, that he run with.
I wonder what his excuse is to this. I want to hear it so bad, but he's not clicking the link.
He ain't gonna click the link. He's a coward. So right here, so this is the source right here. What does it say? The later Stone Age Calvaria from the Iwu Eleru, Nigeria. Morphology and chronology. That paper was made in 2011.
What the hell you say? That says Iwo Eluru. That's you see, this is how we go into the fine print. We don't surface read, family. This is what we do.
Facts.
Hey. So let's give them another paper. And also from this period of time, 8,000, 3,000 years, no E1b1a markers. And the 12,000 year when it's a fucking archaic hominid, at least more from a morphological standpoint. There's no evidence that we tied to those people.
None whatsoever. Did you have another paper concerning this before I go back to the comments?
There's something else in this paper that talks about the West African, archaic West African, or ancient West. What is it called? Basal West African. That's what it is.
Yeah, Basal West African.
They love using that ghost. They love throwing that ghost population at us.
Yeah, which Chinese people have too.
And Europeans.
Yeah. Yeah, here, newsflash, ghost populations are usually not Homo sapiens sapiens. We're not direct descendants of Denisovians and Neanderthals or any other archaic hominid.
According to them, you are.
We're a Homo
You did not come off the. You did not come off the boat with Noah, bro. Your ancestors did not come off the boat.
Right. We all come from the Y chromosome Adam and mitochondrial Eve. We're very much so Homo sapiens sapien, man. So let me see if I can find it. It's been a minute since we read this live before. Let me just hard search. Basal West African. All right, so Basal West African, And I want the one where it gives you a percentage. So the 4 sample children had 35% ancestry related to hunter-gatherers from Western Central Africa and about 65% from basal West African sources. That's a lot. So almost what's that? Almost 3/4 of their DNA. But when you look at Bantu people, if I can find it here,
We have to let them know what those
I think,
basal
I think it's
West Africans
approximately
are.
10%, if I can find it.
Well, there's another paper that talks about it, but yeah, we don't have
Oh,
much.
I see it here. It's right here. So up here it says we estimate a shared admixture to introduce 10% deep modern human and 2% archaic ancestry, although the first proportion is not well constrained. So
What are the basal? What are the basal West African haplogroups? Isn't it A, B?
A and B.
Right. It's
A and
A
B
and
are
B.
Paleo Africans.
Exactly. They're
But
not
when
haplogroup E.
Yeah, but when it says that old basal African admixture,
Yeah.
we only got like 10%. These guys got 65. We get that 10% from introgressing with their women. It's just that simple. Easy mathematics, man.
And that's the DNA that they try to use to landlock us, is with the women that we procreated with in West Africa,
Oh, I got another
the
one.
mtDNA.
I got another one hit him upside the head because he acting as if our DNA is not outside of that, even though you have the Multiman in Ethiopia. That's outside of Western Central Africa. How do you explain that? Ramesses and Pentawar, E1b1a, that's outside of Western Central Africa. How do you explain that? E1b1a, a downstream marker M2, was found in France. How do you explain that? Now I'm gonna hit you upside the head with this one. Let's go to Corsica now. Corsica, type of E1b1a. I'm gonna hit you with another paper after this too, man. That's just shame.
Man, Fernando, you can save yourself. I mean, not Fernando, Alexander, you can save yourself if you just click the link. Explain your points, bro.
So this is a paper from Plus One, 2018. Prehistoric migration through the Mediterranean basin shaped Corsican Y chromosome diversity. And what they found in this paper, just hard search real quick, go right to it. B1A, boom. Haplogroup E, mainly represented by EV13. That's our E1b1b brothers. Shout out to the YAP. Display intermediate frequencies in Corsica compared to Tuscany and Provence. Now, if anybody doesn't know where Corsica is a Mediterranean island right outside of France. So we know that E1b1a was there in ancient France, right? EV13 was thought to have initiated pan-Mediterranean expansion 7,000 years ago, starting from the Balkans. And its dispersal to the northern shore of the Mediterranean basin is considered consistent with the Greek Anatolian expansion to the Western Mediterranean. So E1b1b, EV13 is known for this Mediterranean expansion. We find them here. It is assumed that they expanded there, right? It says right here, Mediterranean basin is consistent with the Greek Anatolian expansion to the Western Mediterranean. Characteristics of region surrounding Ilaria and consistent with the TMRCA estimated Corsica for this haplogroup. A few E1b1a V38 chromosomes are also observed in the same regions as V13. Why? Because we was always with our brothers, man. Always there. We migrated with our brothers. That's why you find it here in Corsica.
I'm about to end this man's whole career. I'm about to.
So, it's just come on the show and you pretty much got to fight these sources now. You got to fight the information.
Please click the link, bro. I sent it to you on Facebook Messenger, and I sent it to you in the chat. So you have no excuse. We're not preventing you from coming on. Come on and click the link.
Well, not even that. We're going to be right back in that room that you what room is this? The My True Ancestry thing?
Yeah, My True Ancestry. I sent y'all the invite.
Yeah, I just joined. So we'll be in there, and every time I see you post something, we're going to be right on you. We're gonna be right on you, being that you ain't show up. So sooner or later, you're gonna have to show up and deal with us.
Facts. You
So
and the
even though,
two others.
even right, so even though you didn't come here, we will be right back over there, coming right at you, like we used to do in Clubhouse.
Facts. By the way, were you done with that source you shoot?
Yeah, I got more sources, but go ahead, keep reading.
All right, so we addressed that claim. Let's just go in order. So he said, but all right, so this person says, see, this is a new person. He has Hebrew writing. So he says, but point taken that it may have come from East Africa. So he kind of folds and says, all right, so maybe not West Africa, but how about East Africa? But it became indigenous to West Africa by its distribution there. I guess we kind of addressed this already.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we technically addressed
High
that.
frequency does not denote origin. It does not mean you arose there.
Right.
These are people who talk smart. You know, they sound smart, sound like they know something, but they don't. Dilettantes.
It's like my boy D Red says, to somebody that knows nothing, I mean, to somebody that knows a little bit, to a fool, he knows a lot. You know what I'm saying? But someone who does know, he doesn't know a damn thing.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate thing of it all. All right, so this comment is kind of interesting. He says, but know this, because we do not have any E1b1a ancient from any time period in the Levant. Now, that's a strong statement to say any time period, because technically we do have it even to this day in the Levant E1b1a. Like, but in terms of like from ancient, what we can say is that there was a ancestral West African presence in Levant, specifically Aluya Yoruba related, and I'm gonna bring that up here in a second. Just trying to see if there's anything else. Okay, yeah, so I bring that up here. An ancestral Aluya Yoruba presence genetically in the ancestors of the Jewish people. Let me just check really quick, see if there's anything else.
You want to touch on the language with the Hausa?
Yeah, so let's deal with that before we get into the ancestors of the Jews. So he says right here, E1b1a is associated strictly with Niger Congo language speakers. You don't even speak an Afro-8. There he is messaging me. So you see that right there. Y'all see
Bring
that?
yourself up here, man. Bring your behind up here, yeah. Just
I'm about
stop with
to,
the games.
I'll push and see what he said here in a minute. But that's let me just zoom in. That's Alexander who I'm referring to. But anyways, so he says, you don't even speak an Afro-Asiatic language, let alone Semitic. In addition to this, you carry little to no Levantine related
That's some
ancestry.
dumb shit.
So there's a few things we can address in this comment. Let's first address the dealing with the languages.
You want the
So
Hausa? You want the Hausa wiki?
yeah, you can pull that up, Sean and Yashub, if you have anything dealing with Afro-Asiatic speakers and E1b1a. I mean, one person I can pull up automatically is like Ramses. He spoke ancient Egyptian, Coptic, that's Afro-Asiatic, and he was E1b1a. So, and he's ancient.
All right, I'm sharing.
The
Go ahead.
Fulani, he's not even making this hard. The Fulani.
Yeah. Yep. As a matter of fact, there's papers that say that the Fulani originally spoke an Afro-Asiatic language before adopting Niger Congo. And many Fulani people are E1b1a carriers. You can go ahead, Sean. You can go ahead.
Go to language.
And when you're done with this, Sean, I have something else you can type in when you're done with what you got.
Yeah, tell me what you want out of this so I can
Go to language.
Yeah, go to language.
Go down, scroll down where it says contents. Click language.
Right.
Hausa language is a what? A member of the what? Afro-Asiatic family of languages.
Spoken
Yeah,
where?
it's right here.
Where is it spoken now? It says it's spoken in northern Nigeria and Niger, and it's also spoken in northern Ghana, Cameroon, and I can't see the rest. In Chad, uh, and the Sudanese Hausa in Sudan and the Ivory Coast, among the Fulani, the Tuareg, and the Shumala Arabs or Shua Arabs. So basically, the Hausa people do speak a Afro-Asiatic language. Push the link right there, the main article, Hausa language. So as you can see, Hausa is actually a sub-branch of the Chadic languages, and there's a chart to the far left, excuse me, the far right, that shows that Hausa comes from Chadic, and Chadic is, of course, Afro-Asiatic. And this language is spoken in Nigeria, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, Benin, Ghana, Togo, Sudan, West Africa region. So it is spoken by like 50 million people. And so, yes, there are indeed E1b1a people like the Hausa who speak Afro-Asiatic languages. And again, the person that we were referring to claimed that they didn't. Can you go to Fulani? Actually, let's just make this simple. Just type in West African Arabic, because he also claimed we don't speak Semitic languages. But indeed, there is West African Arabic in West Africa. There's even a West African Arabic script, but they didn't just speak it, they also wrote in Semitic languages. This is easy, simple stuff. To say that West Africans never speak an Afro-Asiatic tongue is, or E1b1a people never
Can you see it, or do I have to reshare?
Yeah, you have to reshare.
Okay, stand by.
But to say that E1b1a people never speak a Semitic language is pretty ridiculous. Or Afro-Asiatic language, even more ridiculous with that
one. Okay, what's up?
Let me see.
I'm sharing.
And you're not actually.
It says I'm sharing. Hold on, let me do it over again. Share screen. Share screen. Chrome.
Let me see what he messaged me while you pull that up. I was in the middle of my reading.
I just did it again. Is it there? Shoot, or somebody share the screen.
I got you. Is this it right here?
Excuse me.
That's not it, but we can work with it. Afro Arabs would speak, they'll speak, the Arabic language, but that's a
Tell
little
me what you want me to find.
Tell me which one. West African Arabic.
I just put that. Hold on. Stand by. We'll do this again. Afro Arabs.
Actually, I
can script.
I can pull it up.
Here you go. West African JSTOR. I found something in JSTOR. Hold on. Here we go. I found something in JSTOR.
Like the Ajami script. Here, I'm going to pull something.
Yeah, I just had that.
Shout out to everybody, man. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button.
There's a lot of scripts. There's Timbuktu manuscripts. That's in West Africa.
Everybody, like, this is like easy stuff, man. We know Arabic made its way into Western.
I got a Ajami here.
The Ajami strip, yeah.
I got a Ajami. Hold on, I'm about to share it. Let me share it.
And then from there, we can just push other related articles. But the Ajami script.
I'm sharing.
All right. So y'all can see that right there. See that right there, the Ajami script. It's spoken by people such as the Yoruba and Mande, which carry high amounts of E1b1a, by the way. And obviously the House, so it's going to mention them for obvious reasons.
Swahili.
Yeah, Swahili. Well, that's East Africa. Well, actually, yeah, Swahili, because a lot of Swahili people carry E1b1a. So yeah, Swahili as well. Scroll down to Timbuktu manuscripts right there and click that link.
I don't see it. Hold on.
Right there. Oh, right there in that sentence, the Ajami script. Hausa Ajami script. No, it's in that sentence.
Oh, okay. Timbuktu manuscript.
Yeah, push that, please. So even in Timbuktu, which was a famous West African city kingdom, um, there's tons of evidence of Arabic being spoken and written in Timbuktu. We have manuscripts. So this idea that E1b1a people never spoke or wrote in Afro-Asiatic or Semitic languages is just untrue because we have written evidence and oral testimony as well. Um, and that would have been spoken in the Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire, and the Ghana Empire, I believe. So I'm just gonna remove your screen really quick, Sean, and go back to
That's cool.
mine because I wanted to debunk that, and I'll let y'all see the rest of his comments that he made once we're done with this. But he says, let's see. Oh, actually, we're not done with the statement. He also says you don't. He says, in addition to this, you carry little to no Levantine related ancestry. So, Yeshub, do you have the paper dealing with Bantu people carrying Bronze Age Levantine ancestry? Do you have that?
Yeah, I do.
All right, can you pull that up, please? Let's just read that really quick, debunk that.
What is No Sleep talking about?
Who's that?
Just notice he's been making some posts over here.
We focus on the idiocy. Let's pulling sources, man. Right
Yeah,
here.
you know what? I'm gonna let the chat deal with them. Y'all handle it. Y'all know how to handle these dudes, man. Y'all can handle that.
So this is the supplementary materials for Pleistocene North African genome link, Near Eastern and Sub-Saharan African human populations. I believe it was published in 2018 by Lusrek et al. So within this paper, hard search onto boom. It says here the results of a PCA analysis that are based on African populations to construct PCs show that the Tafaran individuals do not cluster with any present-day population. Instead, they take an intermediate position between present-day North Africans and Sub-Saharan Africans, which makes sense because if you remember when the Tafaran individuals first hit the news, they were 60-something% Near Eastern and like 30-something percent Sub-Saharan African. It says specifically they are flanked by the North African Mozambique and the Sahrawi and East African Afars on the Near East and Sub-Saharan African directions, respectively. The East African groups Afar, Oromo, and Somalia, as well as 3,000-year-old individual from Tanzania, Tanzania loves Manda, which was L2A, right? And we know L2A was also in Syria, and we see that it's migrated down south into Africa, bringing in Levantine farmers. If we brought that paper out before too, right? Says are the closest to Tafaral from the Sub-Saharan African side for these East African groups, which together with Tafaral take an intermediate position between Sub-Saharan Africans and West Eurasians. Genetic links with the Near East have been proposed. These links include the introduction of early Neolithic Levant-like ancestry associated with the spread of pastoralism into East Africa approximately 4,000 years before present. In South Africa, approximately 2,000 years before present. A more recent link is the spread of Bronze Age Levant-like ancestry.
Let's slow that down and reread that. Let's slow that down and break it down.
A more recent link is the spread of Bronze Age Levant-like ancestry in Sub-Saharan Africa together with agriculture during the Bantu expansion.
Can you break that down? So when you read that, what do you hear?
I hear that you have Levantine related individuals coming into the and migrating into Sub-Saharan Africa during the Bantu expansion. These are your E1b1a carriers.
I agree with that statement. So it would more than likely be that a lot of these Bantu people, these West Central African peoples, would carry Bronze Age Bronze Age Levantine DNA within their genome. It will be within their deep ancestry, which would express itself in certain DNA tests. So let's go back to his comment really quick because we completely destroyed that part where he said there'll be little to no No, there is in fact Levantine DNA, and it's not even recent. It's Bronze Age, not even recent. Um, so let's see another one of his statements, Alexander, and then I'll show y'all his recent comments that he's been making to me because he's really pissed off right now. But he says on top of this, E1b1a or E-M2 is not even a sister slash brother clade to E1b1b. Do you have a source for this issue?
Wait, what was it again? I'm sorry. What?
On top of this, E1b1a is not even a sister slash brother clades to E1b1b. Basically, he's basically saying that we're not related, almost in a sense.
That's idiocy. I don't even know why we even have pull source for that. E1b1a, E1b1b, both descend from EP2.
Here, read all this right here. This is funny.
It says here on top of it, he said on top of this, E1b1a or E-M2 is not even sister brother clades. What? To E1b1b. That makes no sense. It's a twin branch of EM329. I don't get what your point is here. There goes your bullshit twin theory. EM2 and EM329, look on the pic, are twin, aka sister brother branches, whereas EV38 split from E1b1b 40,000 years ago. Right. That would make them brother clades, right? You stayed in Africa and are sub-Saharan Africa. That's false. We've already showed you guys the French E1b1a sample, the Corsica E1b1a samples. We already showed you that. And we showed you Ramesses and Pentawar, which your 23andMe basically says that, you know, if you have an E1b1a downstream marker, you share a common male ancestor with Ramesses III, who could have lived in the West Asia or North Africa. And it says here, you stayed in African, sub-Saharan African, false. Whereas E1b1b, even the oldest remains are predominantly of Eurasian stock. E1b1b and E1b1a separated by 42,500 years. Totally different ensemble breakdown. Your results are tainted, and I'm guessing it's saying due to...
My bad. Let me scroll down here. Let me just scroll out. So
European slave master / colonizer. That's just idiocy right there. The comment was replete with idiocy.
Yeah, so let's kind of address the not brother statement. Do you have a paper kind of showing that they're indeed like brother clades?
I mean, this is retarded, but I do it.
I mean, I don't understand the urge and need to split E1b1a away from E1b1b.
You don't have the balls to come
It's
on.
the only way, yeah, but it's the only way they can. It's the only by splitting them. It's the only way they can keep you as a donkey. You know, their supremacist views. You know, you're a donkey. You're a mud hut, dung slinger. You know what I'm saying? All of those things. You know, they abuse our people no matter where they at. So in order to keep you in your place, you know, they have to separate you. This is nothing new. We went through this before on Clubhouse with the secular European Jews. You know what I'm saying? So this is nothing new. We faced this already. So, but go ahead.
I think this is dumb. I think this is very, very dumb to actually have to explain something that's so basic. So yeah, rudimentary. Like, come on, man.
Like these are the only people that try to split haplogroups. Like E1b1a, E1b1b can't be related. But J1 and J2, yeah, they can be brothers. R1a, R1b, they can be brothers.
This is yourdnaguide.com. Haplogroup E1b1a is an ancient brother to E1b1b. Big whoop. God damn, I had to do that. Here's for that guy. What's his name? What's his brother's name? Alexander.
Look at what No Sleep said. He said I and J are totally different, bro. I and a better idea would be J1 and J2, but I and J that's way further back in time. That's a terrible example. You're trying
Exactly.
to you E1b1b and E1b1a is not like I and J. Make the comparison to R1A and R1B. See, people never split R1A and R1B. They never split J1 and J2. But they always want to do this with E1b1a, E1b1b.
Oh, well, you mean they never say they're not related? Because that's what they're saying. They're not related. They're
Yeah,
related.
they're not brothers.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Stupid.
It's the only way they could separate themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because they're probably E1B1B.
And
You know,
E1b1a
or
did
they
not split from E1b1b. That too. E1b1a split from E1b1, which is EP2,
right.
is the father, and E1b1b diverged from that as well. It's called a bifurcation event. That's what happened.
Bro. All right, so let's see what else is said. We address that with a very simple article. So he talks about Levantine DNA. That's kind of already touched that. So I guess the last thing we could talk about is this. Can you pull up the history of West African Jews and all that, basically dealing with the ancestors of Jews having Yoruba related DNA?
Yeah, I got you.
Because I basically bring this up because somebody made a very interesting comment. I'm going to see if I can find it.
All right, so you want Primer Johnny?
Yeah, Parmesan. Yeah. And then I'll show you his most recent comments to me where he's, yelling and using exclamation marks and stuff. And
Yeah,
Explicitives.
doing all that, but can't click the link because you're scared.
I want to see what he said. I really do. But go ahead. Let's finish this up.
At this point, man, this dude is over. There ain't even no point to keep going, man. I
yeah,
gotta
we
go.
can end the live here soon. I only want to go 2 hours.
Yeah, we washed this dude up pretty good as usual. Like we wash a YAP a hibachi meal special. It's called this hibachi meal is called fool ass supremacist. That's what it's called.
And you still have time to click the link, by the way, guy. The link is still in your Facebook Messenger and it's still in the thread. But go ahead to shoot. I just want you to go to the part that talks about 3,400 years ago, so you can just hard search that.
Yeah, so the history of African gene flow into Southern Europeans, Levantines, and Jews, Primer Johnny et al. 2011 was when this paper was published. So we could go to parsimonious. There it is. So here it says the point estimates over all 8 populations are between 1,600 and 3,400 years ago, with a largely overlapping confidence interval. So this is discussing the 3 to 5% sub-Saharan African ancestry in the 8 diverse Jewish groups, right? Which includes Ashkenazi, Sephardi's, Mizrahis, so on and so forth, right? It says a parsimonious explanation for these observations is that they reflect a history in which many of the Jewish groups descend from a common ancestral population, which was itself admixed with Africans prior to the beginning of the Jewish diaspora that occurred 8th to 6th century BC. So before the Jewish diaspora, you did have this African element here, and this African element is related to the Yoruba, right? That's what they use, the Yoruba and the Luya, which is East African Bantu. That's who these people connect to. That's what they have in their genetic profile. So when we read Lustress 2018, and he said, hey, that these people have a link in their DNA that pretty much brings them back to the Bronze Age Levant. We see it being reaffirmed here with the history of African gene flow into Southern Europeans. It's showing that our ancient ancestors were in the Levant. That's why we see these ancient signatures with other Levantine people, like the 8 distinct Jewish groups.
Right. So the Luya would be the East African, and the Yoruba, which is part of which is Nigerian, or connected to the Nigerians, that would be West African. So we see this gene flow within the Jewish population.
I wonder if No Sleep is Alexander, because he's making a lot of the same points that he was making in the most recent statements he made. So I'm going to let you read.
They all run together. It's not even that. They're probably not even the same person. They're
No.
that whole. They all. It's a certain group of people we know of that
Check
make
it
the
out. Check
same
it out.
point.
This is how you know this is a troll. Did the paper say it's Ibero-Marusian? No, it
Nope.
did not.
Nope.
It's Yoruba Nigerians. That's the connection.
Exactly.
Dumbass.
Look what he says. He's making this might be Alexander. You're going to see why I say this in a minute. No, it's not 3,600. It's not 3,600 years ago. It's 3,400 years ago. That's the Iron Age, late. That's the early Iron Age, late Bronze Age, bro. Ibero-Marusians didn't exist then.
Exactly. That's way past their time.
Bro, click the link. No Sleep. Click the link. I'm putting the link in the chat, and I think this is you, Alexander. Don't be a
Nah, they
coward.
all run as a team, bro. I'm telling you, all those supremacists over there. You know who I'm talking about. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But they all have the same talking points. They don't have to be the same person. They all operate the same way. You know who I'm talking about.
Here you Shub. Here's the most recent comments he's been making. So you can read that, and you'll see what I mean. Like how.
Yeah, we already explained that.
He repeated itself.
High frequency does not mean that that's the point of origin. And then we showed you a France, an ancient remnant. I mean, an ancient skeletal remain. When they sequenced the DNA, was a downstream marker of E-M2. That's it. You're done, man. You're done. The paper says
that's.
The paper says the
I'm
two.
sorry. He says. I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The paper says the two individuals in Elaru, or however you say it, Nigeria, were archaic. The paper says that. We're Homo sapiens sapien. We're not archaic hominids. The E1b1a is a Homo sapiens sapien haplogroup. It's not Denisovian, Neanderthal. It's not Homo heidelbergensis. It's none of that. It's not Homo erectus.
Look, he's saying address the
according to them.
diversity. Look what he says. Address the diversity, not frequency. That is Alexander. That's him, bro.
That is. When you address frequency, you are addressing the diversity. We already read the book by Stone King. That can be done by a bottleneck. Why are you not listening?
Yeah, he also said that's when ancient Egyptians attached Levant 3,600 years ago. 3,600 to 3,400 years ago, the ancient Egyptians attached the Levant to their kingdom. Basically, that's what he's saying. More foolery.
So the ancient Egyptians 3,600 years ago also composed of R1b and G markers. We know that through the Yuya. We know that through osmosis and his descendants. We know that. So what's your point? I'm trying to figure out what your point is here. What you're doing is special pleading and doing ad hoc, post hoc argumentum, just making shit up. Some fancy way of saying you're just making stuff up.
Look how he's just spazzing in the chat. It's like, bro, you know what just happened?
You already explained that, the bond to expansion. The bond to expansion is why E1b1a dominates West Africa.
Exactly. So let me go to his next comment. And he tries to bring this up.
We brought all this up already.
For West African populations. Tries to bring this up.
Yeah, the ghost population. If you click that paper, it'll tell you the Chinese have that ancient and ghost population in their genome as well.
But here's the thing. it didn't even say in the paper that it's E1b1a. That's autosomal talking about the ghost population. That's
Right.
just autosomal DNA.
Right. And archaic humans don't have E1b1a.
They don't.
E1b1a is a downstream of DE. DE is a downstream of CT. CT downstream of BT. And that goes back to B and that goes back to A. Those are all Homo sapiens sapien clades.
He thinks that archaic humans have haplogroups, bro.
They have
E1b1a is an archaic.
But they would not be downstreams of A markers.
No, I mean that's what I mean. Excuse me. That he thinks that E1b1a descends from archaic, or is an archaic human in West Africa. So here's his other comment, where he's basically repeating himself and getting worked up over nothing because he could just click the link and explain himself.
Mm-hmm. Well, we already answered this.
Oh wait, I think he did. Did he copy and paste this thing? I think he did.
Yeah, he probably did. That's what trolls do.
Look at him, bro. Yeah, he definitely copy and pasted.
Look, he said, but it's modern West Africans that carry it. So he's saying nobody else carries that ghost lineage. You didn't read the paper. This is what I'm talking about. This is the same thing black supremacists do when they try to say that all white people are Neanderthals. No, they have autosomal signatures from Neanderthals, which West Africans do as well. They themselves are not Neanderthals. They're Homo sapiens sapien.
Look at this, Yeshu. No, only West African.
Okay, so let's get the paper. Let's get it. Ghost. Let's just type it in and just read what the damn paper say. Because you niggas don't read, man. Let's go to Google and find this paper. West African ghost lineage.
Bro, why don't you just be a man and click the link? Stop being a coward, bro.
Let's see if only West Africans have this. Right? Let me find an article. Let's see. Yeah, because he ain't gonna click the link. Keep that up there too, where it says no, only in West Africans.
Nope, only West Africans.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Here it is, physics.org. I got the paper. Keep it up there.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
This is what, a dilettante looks like. Remember, a dilettante is someone that doesn't even care about the material. They're not going to read. They're not going to study. They're not going to do anything. They're just going to make these claims, right? Ghost DNA found in some West African people. If you would have read this article, all you got to do is read, man. You understand? Just read. So we don't just hard search, What that say right there? What does it say here? The team also found evidence of the same DNA in a few people of Han Chinese descent living in Beijing and some Westerners living in the U.S.
Emotional, damn it!
And here's the thing: he only focused on this part where it says 2 to 19%. It says West African people for a short time. He didn't read the rest of this shit, man.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
You done, man. Anything else y'all want to cover, bro?
Yeah, he got cooked, and he's in the chat clearly. And
Hibachi, man. Hibachi, it's over, bro.
Do we have a hibachi? Hold on, let me see. Hibachi, bro.
This nigga said, look, and you'll see it's only in West Africa.
Wait, what?
You just read it said Chinese, dude.
The ghost DNA is only in the West Africans. Ooh.
You done, man.
Emotional, damn it!
Bro, just click the link, bro. Explain yourself. Come on, bro. Tell me, does Chinese people or Southeast Asians carry Desovian DNA? Do they carry it? Yes or no? I'm going to wait for that response. Yes or no? Do East Asian and Southeast Asian populations carry Desovian DNA? Yes or no?
Somebody said that the now is strong with this one.
We got to make some Star Wars.
Now you're trying to change it up. No, boy, you said specifically that the only people that have this signature is West Africans. You were proven wrong, man.
Look what
You can't even admit that.
Han probably have it at 0.1%. You have it at 19%. Wait, so we have archaic DNA at 19%. What? What?
Yeah, the Yoruba and the Mindi people.
That's not even accurate, bro.
It says range from 2 to 19%.
Right. That means it can be less than 19%. And the Han don't have 0.1% the Soviet DNA. They actually have a lot more.
Right. And that just means that we mix with groups that had that, just like the Chinese mixed with groups that had that. So that's simple. That's what admixture shows you. That's what autosomal DNA shows you. Admixture. You do know that, right? You probably don't even know that shit. We got to teach this man every goddamn thing.
No, he's a
Link is down
supremacist,
below.
and he's been taught.
Since he's clearly there, let me show him the link.
He's a supremacist, and he's been taught over his life, no different than a child of a KKK member or a supremacist here in this country, that you ain't nothing but like I said earlier, a mud hut dunk slinging donkey.
A monkey, bro. Just say it.
Basically, that's it.
I think we're monkeys, bro.
Yeah, they don't care what proof is said. They're going by what they were taught as children, and then what their parents was taught.
Click the link. I have it clearly on the screen. It's down there. Click the link, bro.
No, you anti-intelligence. That's what you are. I'm not a racist. I'm just anti-nonsense. No, you're anti-intellectual. That's what you are.
Wait, he's not a racist. Let me just
Yeah,
go
you are.
back to the comments that he made.
Exactly.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, these comments are good enough. I was about to go to a different one, but this is good enough. Because what are you trying to prove by saying that we're archaic anyways? Are you trying to say that we're not human in the first place?
We're subhuman. You're subhuman.
What's the point of saying that?
Yeah, right. In the paper, don't say that we are. This is what I keep trying to tell people. Y'all don't understand these papers, and you clearly need YAP to help you. You clearly need to come to YAP for consultation, because y'all don't read and y'all don't understand. The paper says, hold on. The paper says it appears likely that they spread quickly, which indicates widespread interbreeding with West African people for a short time. That's it. That's all the paper says. Does not say that we are these people.
Exactly.
Maybe some of our ancestors may have interbreeded with these people, right? Just like when you see East Asian with Denisovian DNA, that means somewhere along their line they mix with archaic humans known as Denisovians.
And by the way, the guy saying that he's
even
not
just
racist,
to use Neanderthals, even to just use Neanderthals, you'll see a lot of Europeans or East Asians with high Neanderthal
which we have
DNA.
Neanderthal. West Africans have Neanderthal DNA.
literally, bro.
That don't mean they
Exactly,
are.
and he probably does too.
Yeah.
Exactly, probably he does too.
The
But
guy
he won't look at that.
The guy claiming that he's not racist says this: "I'm not your Anglo slave master." Like, what is this type of stuff, bro?
Oh, thank you
What-
very much. No, you don't have to be an Anglo slave master. You still can be a supremacist, because you people who like to talk about the trans-Saharan slave trade and everybody that is mixed with anything West African in from Yemen all the way across into the Middle East had to be from the slave trade, from the trans-Saharan. This is why you use the trans-Saharan term so much. from the trans-Saharan slave trade. This is the game y'all like to play. You know, you're
Boy, you
a
vagina.
supremacist too.
You vagina with that.
You're a straight supremacist. This is what y'all do, regardless if you're Anglo-Saxon or if you're Middle Eastern. Everybody that's West African to y'all are mudslinging, dunk slinging, mud hut builders, and dunk slingers. And you know the term y'all like to use over there. Donkeys is what y'all like to
Look,
call West Africans.
look at this comment. You dismissed. You tried. Hold on. Who's Never mind. All right. You tried to dismiss. No, it's not even typing right. You tried to dismiss the Ibero, or not even Ibero, but the Ibro Moro dummy. They weren't 100% archaic, but
Watch
partly,
this.
and Mande are around 19%. All right. So
Watch.
the issue with this
Again, we
is
addressed that. Yeah,
Let
we
me just
addressed
kill
that.
it real
Listen,
quick. Let me kill it real
do it
quick.
again.
Here's the
Yeah.
paper that Reich, because you keep saying me. That was Reich. I read from Reich's paper. That skeletal remain is archaic from a morphological standpoint. They don't have any DNA from it, dumbass.
And you said once they sequenced it, what he say in his statement? He wouldn't be surprised when they sequence it. It'll be a wrap. It's probably an old clade of EM2.
First of all,
Come on, man. Stop playing games.
limits are all A and B, and the two aerial burials does not help your claim. It does not.
Exactly.
So right here, it says the results were further visualized by comparing specimen and mean configurations. Results point to a morphological similarity with late archaic African specimens
wow.
during the late Pleistocene.
And
Dumb,
by
What do
dumb.
you? Yeah, but wait. What does he say right here? He
You
said,
don't, hold on, I'm not done cooking this nigga. You don't fucking read this shit, man. You out of your lane, man. Go sit down and play with somebody else, boy.
we will wait till they sequence them. They
You
already
have
sequenced
no
them.
business. Hold on. You have no business discussing anything in the realm of genetics or genomics because you do not read these papers. We do. You got to come to YAP to get this information. You're not going nowhere else to get this understanding because y'all won't take out the time to read the shit.
You know, I gotta say that.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
Sit your ass. Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
We will wait till they are sequenced. We will wait till they sequence them.
They can't be sequenced. There was no viable DNA found from them, dummy.
And you
The
know the crazy
asshole.
part is none of this is proving that they're E1b1a. Like this
Yeah,
is just autosomal DNA. This isn't E1b1a. Like
he's
what
the
is
donkey. He's the donkey.
Boy, you vagina. You vagina with that.
Somebody blocked him. Who blocked him?
I did. He pussy. I'm
Okay.
done. I'm not going to keep going back and forth with this dude. You're not even jumping on. You pussy.
Okay.
You don't want to argue, and you don't know what you're talking about. You was wrong about the two Nigerian skeletal remains. You was wrong about that. You was wrong about the ghost DNA that we share with the fucking Han Chinese. You was wrong about it. Didn't even admit that you was wrong because you don't read this. We study this day in, day out. We eat shit and everything, bro. We do this every day, 24/7. Y'all gonna learn y'all fucking lesson, man. That's why you won't click that link, you bitch. I'm done, man.
You know what's interesting about this stream? I put it in that Facebook group, and there's like 45 people live. I think a lot of the watchers are from that Facebook group because I put the link there. So
yeah, he done, man. He finished, bro. Like all y'all
Yeah, he had to say.
on Facebook that got the link. If you want to learn about DNA and genetics, especially when it comes to sub-Saharan Africans, click that fucking subscribe button and hit the like button. They not gonna bring this information, man. I'm out. Done.
He had to save face. He had to save face. That's why he was showing out with all the points we already made and showed him. And anybody else who came from that particular Facebook page, if just rewatch the whole thing and every point that he made, we buried him. We buried him and his talking points, uh, and he had to save face in front of y'all. So this is why he was trying to act like we didn't address anything he said. He's a coward. He doesn't know anything about DNA. He sounds smart when he's on Facebook with y'all, but he's an idiot. That's what he is.
Hey, Shalom family. What's up, Joshua?
Shalom.
The champ. You the champ, man. You the Source Lions Den champ, brother. And now I'm loving how the way you're elevating the channel. This channel was birthed up out of the Lions Den. So I don't have no choice but to support and share this. This information that you're presenting kills them. Jeremiah, please say to Yah, this was our vision. Me, him, and Black Jesus Minister, this was our vision of us extending, of us maturing, of us getting this information out. And fuck all that shit that we do. Excuse my language. Forget all that stuff that we was doing in the back chat, bro. I love you, man. I see your growth. I seen it over the years. Seen it, bro. And now you got off a little track a little bit about something else a couple weeks ago, man, and we was kind of concerned about you, but that's for another show.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what did I get off track on?
I forgot, man. Don't worry about it, man.
No, I want to talk about
Hey, I forgot the topic, man.
You want smoke up the skirt?
I don't want no smoke today, man.
Right.
I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke.
Hey,
I'm on your side.
Okay.
Young brother, hey, young lion, you in your prime right now. You was ahead of your time even before you was in your prime with your information. But it was the way you, man, there's always people calling me when
yeah, they tell you to get off of here.
Yeah. But nah, man. We're in a war. I'm glad y'all jumped in. You see what I'm saying? I mean, we got this platform. You got Genesis 49. You got the Lions Den. We got Judah Nazar's platform. We got so many Israelite platforms, bro, that they don't stand a chance, bro. That's all I'm saying. But you did retract it.
All those people you named is not associated with Yashu. I don't fuck with them. They don't.
No, man, come on. Put the ego in your pocket for a minute, man. I'm coming over here giving you the flowers because the flowers was birthed about a vision that JJ 7000 came up with when I got in front of the goddamn TV and had a stick in front of my hand and had a few drinks in my system after the hard day of roofing and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And trying to get the information out to the people. And we came up with this idea that, hey, man, hey.
How old
forget going. Listen, let me get 2 minutes. Not 2 minutes, but 30 seconds. Hey, look, we got to do our own thing. We ain't getting a fair shake on something on the TV. Fuck all that shit. See, that's
go over there all the time. That ain't me. I don't be over there. You don't see that be y'all over there. That ain't got nothing to do with me, brother.
Well, actually, Genesis 49. I will say this: you was out before I came to it, to the scene, and your numbers was banging. So Jeremiah, please say that Yah brung you around us.
Yeah, I'm about to say, how could I be?
Yeah.
Because you
So
said,
yeah.
All right.
And the way you talk and the way you present your information is real professional. And so yeah, man. But this is Yah World 777 Genesis 49ers. This is ours. And don't forget that, bro.
I didn't come. Hold on, my channel did not come from Lions Den, bro. I existed before.
Okay, I gotta say Genesis 40. I'm talking about I'm saying we connected, bro.
We connected.
Remember.
American,
okay, remember. Okay, hold on. Let me say this. Are you not the Lions Den champion?
I don't know, man. You gotta figure that out.
Were you not in the tournament at the Jeremiah?
I won the tournament, brother. I won the tournament. I'm gonna leave it at that, man.
You won the tournament, right?
Yes.
Right. This is an extension of the Lions Den, bro. The Source Debate League. and Genesis 49 as a part of that, because you brought your platform to it too as well, brother.
Yeah,
It's a
but
transformer thing. That's why I'm trying to
look
come
at
to you
the
with an olive branch, man. We got to put all that other stuff to behind us. We all have grown up. We all was a little silly in the back chat. We all stayed up all night talking and all that stuff, and going through information and having fun and laughing and getting mad. We did that, but now it's a time right now to stop being isolated from each other. And it's time to come together, man, because we bring this information for real, bro. That's what I'm coming to you as a man and saying to you publicly. I love you, bro. And I love what I'm seeing right now. That's why I come on here. All right? I got to get up out of here, man, because I've been sharing this video, trust me, in all my groups, all my back chats.
Thank you, bro.
This ain't
Thank
no
you. Shalom.
isolated thing, brother. Shalom.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that, though.
Source
Thank you for
Bailey,
sharing.
Jeremiah, please say the Yah. One.
Shalom.
peace.
By the way, before we end off, I just want to remind people we have another YouTube channel. What were you about to say? Oh, you
I'm about to say this is YAP. This is a YAP Gang scholarship production, not a Source Debate League production or Alliance Team production.
right.
I got peace with all brothers. I'm not at war with all my brothers. I'm not adversarial, but I'm not gonna lie and act like everything cool. Well, everything not cool between me and BHI. They can get to work every day, if not all days.
Right. We're not Black Hebrew Israelites. We're
I'm not a BHI, man.
we're Jews. Right.
I'm a Nazarite.
I'm a Helen Jew. A Jew from the Sahel.
If y'all keep
A
acting
Helen,
the way y'all do,
Nazarite.
if y'all keep acting up the way y'all do, I'm gonna have to just claim something else completely. I'm a Martian, man. I'm not even on this earth, bro. I'm not dealing with y'all.
All right, let's close out. We don't want to keep the people.
All
We want
right.
to keep this short. So
Yeah,
what else we
I
gotta do?
only want to keep it at 2 hours. So the last thing I'll say is this: we do have a YouTube channel, a second YouTube channel called YAP Gang Scholarship. Check it out. Subscribe. We already have 5 videos out, and there will be some more coming out soon. Let me see if it's really 5.
Yeah. Also,
Well,
scroll down.
about
Also,
7.
scroll down to our featured channels. Make sure everybody they scroll down to our featured channels.
Yeah,
Is
let
it
me
there?
go to channels. And here are other channels. Shari's channel. Although she is going to bring her information onto the YAP channel because Shari's channel is going to become a building engineering channel soon. We have the Orthodox More. We have Genesis 49ers, and of course we have the Hebrew of Israel. All of our work
And
will
we
be
also
on
have
this.
Rouge. Yeah, I added Rouge channel today. I don't know why it's not showing. Rouge got a new
Shout
channel.
out to the true Hebrew Rue, man. Shout out to my brother Rue. You
Yeah,
understand? He the only brother can say, hey, I got the bed den popping, you know what I'm saying? Synagogue
exactly.
service, and I'm gonna come support him. I'm gonna support his synagogue and his ministry, man. But a lot of you people on the internet, man, you Israelites, you won't get a dime from me or any of my support, man. Y'all push racist doctrine, confusing doctrine, and we push science and education here, man.
Our resident rabbi, our in-house rabbi.
Right.
That's our in-house rabbi.
Big up to
Right.
the rabbi. No,
Hi.
this is a newbie and me. Just want to big up the education and the platform and the listening and the reasoning. I do want to say that I did get to see that debate with the brethren Zion, and I would say that was a very educational, eye-opening, and yes, Yeshub, you won that based off of the rules and the information. But despite, I still think it gives us room to talk about Beta Israel and where we're all heading. And I would like to see a good reasoning, hopefully one day with you and Zion, because I think y'all brought really great information. Again, the debate rules and
Who's
some
Zion
people.
Lex?
Nah, the other Zion, when we were talking about,
Oh, Zion
that's
Warren.
the one thing I want to talk to Yeshua about, because you brought in great things. I think there was some good things that were brought out. I think the debate was about Ethiopia and Israel and who's better, who's number one. but it doesn't really matter because
No,
we're still
sister,
under one.
sister,
I'm just kidding.
that wasn't my debate. That was King Self debate. I debated Zion on evolution or something like
Yeah,
that.
you talk about Zion.
Oh, there
Hey,
was
sister.
another one. I thought you had debated. I thought that was you debating
Look,
the Zion on Ethiopia and Israel, and there was a lot of great points that came out about.
We lost the stream.
no, sister, that was Self. I would never
Pardon.
debate against Ethiopians. I debated him on science and evolution, and the brother caught a hissy fit in the middle of the debate, and it ended. That's how it happened.
Oh, okay, well, my apologies. But give thanks for the scholarship and the reasoning, and I look forward to having more conversations about Beta Israel and some historical information to that my husband can share. I just come up and just try to learn as much as I can. Give thanks.
Well, we appreciate you, sis. Thank you for tuning in. You know, we try to do the best for our people. You know, we try to no gimmicks, no lies, no artificial flavorings, none of that. Just straight information. You know, that's what we try to do. You know, historically, that's what Yeshub has done. You know, we came together on this Yap Gang thing, the whole team. Elcom,
Love it.
Myself, Rue, Ivory, Yeshub, Orthodox Moore, Sister Shari. You know, we came together, you know, to really push the science and a lot of this, what we're doing with the DNA, we didn't form this to go at Christians or even at our own. When we started this, we went straight to the Jewish rooms,
Fact.
straight
Mm-hmm.
to the European Jewish rooms. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because we had to prove to them that we had to show them that they were going to, even if we had to shove it down their throats, that they were going to accept us as part of world Jewry, you know. And then we
Yes,
got
sir. So we're
racist.
worshiping in truth. That's the
That's
facts. And in
so.
spirit. So give thanks, We give
Yes,
thanks.
sis.
Ivory, thank you for coming through. Orthodox Moore, breath of fresh air. Again, we're all coming around the table, eating, but we're still part of one family. Again, I look forward to that conversation on Beta Israel and Ethiopia. Does anyone know about that debate that I'm referring to? It was a couple like last week with a Zion, not Zion Lex. There's
Oh,
another
yeah,
brethren.
that's Zion Lex and Jeremiah. Yeah, they don't have nothing to do with YAP. That was something they set up, and they had something to do with that. I didn't watch the debate, but I know what you're talking about.
But however, the brother did bring out very, very important facts that ones are not very aware of with Ethiopia, His Majesty, and Beta Israel. So if y'all can look at that and let's talk amongst ones and ones about that, that would be a blessing. So blessed Hanukkah to everyone. Muchas gracias, merci beaucoup, Miss Ghana, for everyone. The brethren, you're strengthening the family. I look forward to, the young ones just tuning in more. So give thanks. You're laying down foundations for generations and generations. We look forward to registering our children into your schools, online or in person. Give thanks.
Shalom, sis. Thank you very much.
And I guess we'll end off there. And again, subscribe to the YouTube channels y'all see on the screen. Yap Gang Scholarship, Shari, the Orthodox Moor, Genesis 49ers, and the Hebrew of Israel. Subscribe. And very
And Rue's
soon,
channel,
and
Rue
Rue's channel
and
as well.
Hadad. It'll be posted when you go to the channel to subscribe, family. His channel will also be in the feature channel.
Let me just pull it up right here. Rue.
It's R-E-W. He spelled it a little different. R-E-W.
Sorry, said just refresh the page. She already did it.
All right.
Yeah, refresh the page.
Let's take a look here. All right, there it
is.
So subscribe to the Yap Gang Scholarship channel, Shari, the Orthodox Moor, Genesis 49ers, the Hebrew of Israel, and Ru Abin Hadad. So please subscribe to all these channels for more information. And very soon here, when the new year hits, we're going to get into the Exodus. We're going to talk about Joseph and the Hebrews that enter into Egypt. We're going to go into the Exodus, and we're going to touch on the conquest of Canaan. So we have some discussions, and some of us have some presentations. I have a documentary that's coming out, and we're going to just basically, in the month of January, and perhaps even after that month, we're going to dig into Joseph, the Exodus, and the conquest of Canaan. Presentations and discussions, and hopefully y'all enjoy it. And we're going to end off here. We're going to end off with some music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
remember, this is the channel. This is the group you're going to learn about science from, not the Afrocentrics. They don't even read the papers. If you want people that read the papers, you come to YAP. Hit that subscribe button, man. And remember, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. YAP.
Yeah.
Yeah.